Hi, it's Joe Clark again with another CML tip. What we're going to look at today is something we get asked about quite a bit, and admittedly, it's not that intuitive to be able to find this setting or this capability in CML, but it is there. And that is, how do I simulate a link or interface failure? Maybe you've got some tracking set up, some route failover, and you need to see that that's going to work by getting something that looks like an interface failure, just interface going down or an interface flapping. You need to be able to test that. Um, we're going to look at how we do that both in the UI, and we'll look at how we can do it via the API. First thing we've got, this is our topology. We've got this branch router that we're going to be looking at, specifically Gigabit Ethernet 2 on the branch router. In order to get started with this, the first thing we need to do is get to the specific place that will allow us to stop the interface in particular. A lot of people, the mistake they make is they think, okay, I want to stop, or I want to shut down this link. And so they'll click on the link and they'll see, oh, okay, I can stop the link. And certainly you can do that. And if you stop the link, it will no longer pass traffic, but you won't get that same link down or in the opposite link up behavior that you're looking for. Instead, what we need to do is stop the specific interface that we're interested in. So before we do that, I'll get my console set up here. So this is the SSH terminal server that CML provides, and I'm going to open the console to branch router. So I'll open that up. You can see there's branch router there. We'll look at Gigabit Ethernet 2. So Gigabit Ethernet 2 is currently up. And our mission is to get it to go down without doing a specific, we don't want to administratively shut it down. We don't want to do a shut there. So we actually want it to look like a failure. So again, I'll click on the link and say get the link info. And what we need to do is go to that specific interface. And in this case, that's going to be Gigabit Ethernet 2 on branch router. So you see that this Gigabit Ethernet 2, this is a hyperlink. I can click on this. So I'll click on that and I get to the interface info. This shows me that Gigabit Ethernet 2 is connected to our branch switch. And there is a simulate tab for the interface info as well. And here we also have stop and start buttons. I'll go ahead and click stop. So I'm stopping the interface, not the link. It won't pass traffic because I have stopped the interface. And within a few seconds, it's not instantaneous. We're going to see those usual syslog messages that indicates that the interface has gone down. We'll get the link down syslog. You can see that here. And if I do the show IP brief again, you can see that in fact the interface is now down. Not administratively down, it's down. So you've simulated that link failure situation. And now your interface tracking or your route failover, that should all happen. HSRP, those types of things, that should all happen. And then we can also just click the start button when we're ready to bring it back up. Again, not immediately instantaneous, but after a few seconds, we'll get the same syslog, the link up message, indicating that our interface is back. There it is. So link is gone up or come back up, and we should do a show IP brief again, and we see that, yep, it's up. So that's the UI way of doing it. And certainly most users will probably be interfacing with CML through the UI, but the UI is based upon that REST API that CML provides. So we can do exactly the same thing with the REST API. So here I have Postman, and I've pre-populated the URL with the lab ID. You can see that this is the same lab ID. And I found that interface ID 2 is Gigabit Ethernet 2 on the router or node 0 or the branch router. And I did that using some other API queries ahead of time. So we're going to call a put. You can see that over here. We're going to call a put on the state stop. And so if we look at the API documentation for that, we see that the verb to set the state between either started or stopped is a put verb. So we seem to have everything in line. I'll go ahead and bring my console back up here. I'll click the send button. We get a 200 OK. This is exactly the same thing that the UI is using under the covers to be able to stop and start the interface. So again, within a few seconds, not instantaneous, we'll see the link down message. Great. And then we can replace the word stop with the word start, send it again. Again, 200, okay. And then again, after a few seconds, we'll get the link coming back up. You can roll this into your automation if you want to do automated tests of interface state, make sure that things are behaving the way they should. If you're doing like a CI/CD pipeline build, the API is great for that. But if you're just trying to learn or you're using CML through the UI to test some specific scenarios, the UI works just as well. I hope you like this episode. We'll keep putting these out with little tips and tricks to make your modeling experience with Cisco Modeling Labs the best it can be. Thanks again.